Hello, and welcome to Unshackled for Life. We're unlocking prosperity and liberating wealth. We'll be discussing all things personal finance. And I'm your host, John Green. In today's episode, we'll be discussing the meaning of unshackled and the mindset that's required to achieve financial freedom. So we'll be discussing what unshackled is, what unshackled is not, and how you can go about getting this mindset to achieve financial freedom. All right. So this episode is actually inspired by a family friend after we released episode 1. I'm excited to explain what my vision is and why I call myself unshackled. All right. So let's start off with the definition for unshackled. So to me, being unshackled means being free from debt and the financial stress that comes along with that debt. So it also allows you the freedom to spend your money the way that you want to spend your money. Now, technically, we all have that freedom to spend our money the way that we want to spend our money. But what I'm talking about is being free to put your money towards the things that you know are most important to you without putting on an extra unnecessary burden, you know, on your mental and physical financial well-being. So, when you think about unshackled, when you think about that word, unshackled, you might, I think of somebody breaking free and chains breaking and, being torn off or taken, I won't say torn off, but taken off. And when you unshackle money, what you're doing is you're freeing it up to put it towards the things that you want to most put it towards. So that's what it's about. It's about creating more options by taking control of your finances. And when you have more options, you're basically allowing yourself to have more opportunities. And when you have more opportunities, and life it's a lot better. It's a lot better when you have opportunities. So let's now take a second to talk about what being unshackled is not. So again, based on feedback from people who watched episode 1, let me first say that being unshackled has nothing to do with, prison or jail, none of that. I've never been to prison. I'm not trying to go to prison. I'm not made for that life. All right. Another thing, it has nothing to do with, you know, the old ball and chain. Some people made a comment that maybe it's related to, or I'll say a person made a comment that maybe it's related to a relationship thing. Like, is it about relationships? No, not at all. Even though, it's not about breaking free from a relationship. That's not it. That's not it at all. As a matter of fact, it's the opposite. So, when you're, when you work together with your mate, with your partner, you'll find that, man, the finances start to click a lot easier when you're working together and not against each other. So working as a solid unit is actually more beneficial. It's going to make you, a stronger financial, cohesive unit. All right. So, so let's get back to what it's not, but more from a financial standpoint, because, you know, it's not about, it's not about freeing up your money to act foolish, like going crazy and spending your money like a crazy person. It's not about building more debt, going into more debt. And it's also not about impressing other people. So when I say unshackled, you know, it's having control of your money. It's knowing where your money's going and knowing what you're putting it to, having goals for your money and executing those goals, accomplishing those goals. So, it's not freeing up money so that you can then go out and buy the next luxury item or the next bright and shiny thing that you want. It's it's not about, taking out more debt. There are definitely those who like to play the credit card finesse game where you have multiple credit cards and you time them and finesse them and all of that. No, unshackled. That's again, that's the opposite of that. That causes stress. It causes unnecessary effort, and I'm not cool with any of that. So no. Um, and ultimately, it's not about impressing other people. I'm not here to impress others. I'm not here to make myself seem bigger or badder than anyone else just because I'm out of debt. Um, it's called personal finance for a reason. Your finances should be personal to you, and they should be, what you do with your money should represent what you personally want to do with your money. So if you're one of those folks who's worried about impressing other people or what other people think about you, then being unshackled may not be for you. Maybe you like being shackled to other people's opinions of you and what they're thinking, and when you allow those things to press on you and push you down and hold you back. Mm-mm. It's not this. It's not this. And the last thing that unshackled is not. It doesn't necessarily mean to be financially free. That is the ultimate goal, yes, is to be financially free. I think everybody wants to be completely financially free. But, you know, you can definitely be unshackled, which is free from the stress of debt without being completely, you know, financially free. Because, when I think of even the richest people, I mean, the wealthiest people still have responsibilities. They still have things that keep them from being completely financially free. It just kind of depends on what you think and what your definition of financially free is. So we'll talk more about that in a moment. All right. So here we go. Now that I've explained what it is and what it's not, let's talk more about what it is and the mindset that's associated with being unshackled. So adopting this mindset of, adopting the unshackled mindset, it's about having control of your money and making your money go where you want it to go. All right. It's about intentionality, discipline, and focus on your long term financial goals. So here's some key principles. Number one, we need to set financial goals. I want you to identify what your goals are. And then that will help you create a plan that can help get you to where you want to go. So when you think about your goal, it could be something like paying off debt. It could be saving for a major purchase, whether that's like a house, a car, your, a vacation. Or maybe it's investing in the future. And that could be, you investing for retirement, investing in your children's education, whatever it is. You definitely want to have a clear goal because that will help you stay focused and motivated. Benjamin Franklin, he's famous for saying, if you fail to plan, you're planning to fail. So the number one principle, the number one thing is set those goals. What is it that you want to do financially? Next, you're gonna get control of your money. So the second principle here is, is understanding where your money is going, where it's coming from. It's creating a budget. All right. And when you do your budget, you're going to track your spending. You're going to make informed financial decisions. And then the last thing is become a mindful consumer. So you want to practice mindful spending. You want to avoid those impulsive purchases, those unnecessary purchases. You really want to focus on where it is that you want to go. You want to focus on that goal. All right. And focus on the things that matter to you. So this is going to, this being a mindful consumer, this is something I noticed once I started my journey. Once I started taking control of my money, I really started to change my spending habits. And, in the last episode, we talked about credit consumerism, but just consumerism in general. You know, you want to start to take control of those purchases that you're making, the things that you are consuming. And you'll start to you'll see that there's some fluff in your spending, and you'll want to cut some of that fluff out. So one thing I noticed, one thing that kind of tickles me on trash day here in my neighborhood, you can look outside, you can look out on my street on trash day, and you can tell who the big consumers are in my community, in my neighborhood. They'll have all kinds of Amazon boxes, or, whatever, all kinds of boxes next to their trash cans, and they have a whole lot of trash. They got their trash cans overflowing, and we actually get trash service twice a week. So to me, for us, it's usually just our one trash can. Every now and then, I might have a box that I can't fit in there, but usually that's it. And then I see others who constantly, it's not just like, once a week, they'll constantly have like just all kinds of stuff in front of their yards. It's big consumerism, y'all. Big consumerism. But anyway, become a mindful spender. So so I now want to kind of share where I am in this financial journey, because because finance, your financial life is a journey. It's not something that happens overnight. You're not gonna overnight become a financial success. You're not going to overnight become a financial failure. It takes time to develop, whichever side of the spectrum you're on. It took time to get there. So it's fair to ask me where I am in my financial journey. So, you know, one of the things that my wife was asked the other day by one of her friends was, are we completely out of debt? And the answer is no. I still have a mortgage, or I should say, we still have a mortgage, my wife and I, and we still work 9 to 5 jobs. You know, I'm not balling out of control to where I just have buku amounts of money, but you know, I'm still unshackled. And you might be asking, well, how can you have a mortgage? That's debt. How can you have that and still say you're unshackled? And that's a fair question. So, something that kept me up one night. I kind of woke up one morning and I told my wife, I said, baby, I said, when I'm starting this Unshackled for Life business, I don't want to come across as a fraud or an imposter or a hypocrite. And she kind of asked me why I was feeling that way, and I said, well, I'm saying that we're unshackled, but we still have mortgage, and we still have our 9 to 5 jobs. Um, you know, it's not it's not to say that we're financially free. It's like we still have some financial responsibilities. So she said, okay. She said, so what does being unshackled mean to you? So I told her, I said, well, it's being free from the stress that comes along with debt, and it's pursuing the freedom from debt so that you can make what financial, you can make what financial choices you want to make, down the line. And she said, okay, so what does being shackled mean to you? And I told her, I said, hey, well, that means, being chained and burdened by debt. And, it's that feeling of being held back, uh, keeping you from doing the things that you really want to do. It's living paycheck to paycheck. And, every month once you get your paycheck, is pretty much just going directly towards paying off the debt. And you really don't have that traction to move ahead. So her next question was, so are you shackled or are you unshackled? And man, let me tell you, I love my wife. I love her tremendously, because the moment she asked me that, I just kind of rolled over and smiled like, wow, yeah, you're right. We are unshackled. So even though I still have a 9 to 5 job and a mortgage, I am free from the stress and the burden that comes along with that. And when I think about the people who are shackled, that stress, man, it was me. It was me. I was there. And now that I'm unshackled from that, it's a completely different sense of freedom, and it's a completely different sense of, you know, mental health and financial health, because that stuff is now behind me. So, you know, it's just important to understand that as I speak about being unshackled, it's not to make anyone feel less than or lower than. It's me trying to explain to you that if you were burdened by debt, if you were stressed out, if you were feeling like there's no end to the journey, no end of the tunnel, then listen to me when I tell you that there is an end to that life. You can get yourself free from debt, and you can change your financial projection by eliminating debt. Because if you were rid of it, you would have a lot of money freed up at the end of the month. And that's what I want you to see. That's what I want you to understand. That's what being unshackled is. So, another thing, as I talk about, my situation and where we are in the journey, I mentioned the mortgage. So, my mortgage, people consider, they consider some debts good, some debts bad. To me, ultimately, all debts cost money, so to me, they're all kind of bad. But when you think about, the mortgage, like our mortgage is not, it's not weighing us down. It's not stressing us out. We were lucky and able to refinance back during 2021 when all those mortgage rates fell to the ground. They all fell to the floor. We were able to get in on a very low mortgage, and it's a 15-year mortgage, and it's just it's not a major financial hit. Yes, it's our biggest expense, but at the same time, it's not like, it's not a huge percent of our take home pay each month. So it's in control. It's reasonable, and it's not crazy. So I still consider myself unshackled, for those who want to question that. All right. So how can I get you there? What can I do to get you to understanding the mindset of being unshackled? So here's some things. Number one, you want to set your goal. So figure out what it is that you want to accomplish financially. Do you want to pay off the debt? which should be your first thing if you're in a lot of debt. That should be one of your priorities. But do you want to pay off debt? Do you want to invest in your future? Whatever it is, are you trying? Is your goal to save for some sort of event or experience? Whatever it is, set your goal, then create your budget. Once you have your budget in place, allow that budget to be the roadmap that's going to get you to your goal. All right. Is it going to be an overnight journey? No, it's not. I keep saying that. It's not an overnight thing. It's not going to happen. It's not. If you win the lottery, great. Okay. If you win the lottery, please help me pay off my house. I would love to have that mortgage disappear like that. But chances are that's not going to happen. So, you know, use the budget. Use the budget to help get you to where you want to go. And then track your spending. You want to, as I said earlier, be a mindful consumer. Track where you're spending your money, track where it's going. You're not going to get your budget perfect the first time. You're going to forget things. You're going to find that, oh, I forgot that car registration. Oh, I forgot the insurance was due, or whatever. HOA fees, whatever the case may be. Or you might find, hey, you know what? Man, I thought I only needed this much for groceries, but man, this inflation, it has the groceries costing this much. I'm gonna have to put some more money to that next month. That's cool. That happens. Budgets take time to finesse. But the very fact, or the very act of being on a budget, you're gonna find that there's some extra money at the end of the month for you. So track your spending, and once you get out of what debt you have, or once you get in more control of your finances, then you can start building an emergency fund. I talked a lot about that in episode 1. That emergency fund is going to make you financially stable. It's going to allow you to not worry so much about little things that pop up. Thing, whatever the case may be. Um, Whether it's a medical thing or a auto thing, whatever it is, it'll, if it's with something that's within your emergency fund, it's taken care of, and that's a nice piece of insurance. So that's really what the emergency fund is. It's just insurance. It's something to help you overcome those unnecessary things that happen in life. I mean, that's what life's about. Things happen. All right, to keep it nicely. So you'll build that emergency fund, and once you have that, man, everything after that's about investing. So once you get there, you can start to invest your money wisely. I don't really give investment advice, but you can choose what you love and what you're comfortable with, whether that's stocks, real estate, bonds, crypto, whatever it is that you're comfortable with, or maybe you want to invest in your own business. That's cool. That's something cool. I wish I would have taken care of my finances earlier, because there was, I definitely had some business dreams that I would have loved to have, things I would have loved to have started. But still not too late. It really isn't too late. But some things have changed in life where one of the things I used to want to do was to open a wine bar. But you know, will it happen? Doubtful. It might, but I doubt it. I doubt it. There are other things I'd rather focus on. So, you know, invest your money wisely, spend how you want to spend it, and then hey man, that's that unshackled life. That's what we're talking about here. That's the goal. So to recap, just to summarize some of the things. Being unshackled, it means to be free from the stress of debt and to be in control of your money. We talked a lot about what it does not mean. No need to recap that. I'd rather just focus on what it does mean. Being unshackled doesn't, well, I say that, but I'm going to tell you, being unshackled does not necessarily mean being financially free, because financial freedom is a very vague term and it means different things to different people. So it's not that. But what it is the freedom to spend your money on the things that are most important to you. So that's what being unshackled is all about. And that's where I want you to get to. So what else? We talked about tips as far as how to get unshackled. We talked about setting a goal, creating a budget, um, and then becoming a mindful consumer. That's all a part of taking control of your money. So by doing those three things, you can be unshackled and you can put yourself in a better financial place. Now, I also talked about some tips. We talked about tracking your spending and having an emergency fund and then investing. There's an order to things. And I think, don't try to do too much up front. I think you kind of need to go in a systematic, orderly way. Focus on the debt first because it's that debt that's probably stressing you out. So once you free up some of that debt, and you'll see some of that stress melt off. It'll melt off pretty quickly. So I hope that stuff helped. I hope that this episode helps you out. Hopefully you learned a thing or two from me. Um, if you found today's episode helpful, please like and subscribe. Please rate us. Give us a review. Um, please share it with your friends. All right. Friends and family, whoever you think might benefit from any of this information. If you know others who are in a financial bind and stressed out, I'm here for them as well. Feel free to share this. You can always reach out to us if you're interested in reaching out. You can reach out. You can find us on our website, www.unshackledforlife.com. Unshackled, the number 4, life.com. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. We can be found on all the major podcast platforms. If you're watching us on YouTube, if you ever want to listen to us on the go, like I said, just reach out to one of those. You can find us on, Apple Music, Spotify, Amazon, most of the other platforms. All right, wherever you listen to your podcast. So thanks for listening, everybody. I hope you have learned something great, and I'll catch you next week. Take care, everyone. Thank you for listening. I'm John Green. This is Unshackled for Life.